Back in the old days, probably around 2009 to 2011, mobile games were actually good compared to the mobile games now. I mean, if you just watch one of the ads of the game, you know you are in for a treat. Dude, seriously? That was just simple math and you failed. You know what? Let me try making a terrible ad for Kingdom Rush. But seriously, mobile games back in the days were good. If you don't have a console, your phone is your way to go. One game that has a special place in my heart alongside other games is a game that most people don't know, and that is Samurai vs. Zombies Defense. Does it look familiar or at least sound familiar? Well, short story short, a game made by Glue that is now unplayable. I mean, it is still playable, but you have to download an emulator or play it from an old device or even download an APK file of the game. Which I did download an APK file because my old tablet won't turn on anymore, and that is why I have tons of coins. Which is why I am here trying my best to revive this game. So I will be ranking the allies that you can summon from worst to best. Remember that strategies are different, meaning my ranking may not be the same as your list. Also, if you do play this game, I will not be ranking the Rifleman and the Swordsmith, since they are too different from the other troops from this list. With that out of the way, please enjoy. 11th place goes to the Takeda Shingen. This troop looks good on paper because of its high attack and health. But really, he is not worth the 65 leadership you are spending on him. His attack speed is slow, making him weak against fast enemies. He is also very expensive to upgrade, and when he is upgraded, it is not worth the investment. Upgrading other things like the Bowman, for example, is way better than spending it on this troop. My last issue with Takeda is that you can only have one of him at a time. All in all, he is pretty bad, especially for harder levels in the game because of enemy spams. 10th place goes to the Priest. Now comes to the healer of the team. The Priest has one job and he's not very good at it. He will become useless because of hard-hitting enemies on later stages. What also sucks is that he has the same two issues with the Takeda. First being too expensive to upgrade, and second having only one to send out at a time. Honestly, you are better off using sushi plates rather than this healer. Ninth spot goes to the Sword Warrior. Ah yes, the Sword Warrior, medium health and medium damage. Nothing too crazy and he is pretty cheap to spam at the enemy. In the earlier stages of the game, they are pretty powerful. But as you progress, enemies have better stuff to throw at your groups of troops. Enemies that have burst or area attacks are usually the weakness of spams. Some examples for these types of enemies are the Shogun and Spider Lady. Not bad, but some troops are way better than the Sword Warrior. 8th spot goes to the Spear Warrior. The Spear Warrior has the same weakness of the Sword Warrior, being easily taken out by burst and area attacks. But they deal way more damage and have longer range because they hold spears. They do require a little bit more support due to having low health. But that is not really a problem because the damage output is great. Seventh place goes to the Nobunaga. An ally with high health and good area attack. Really, he is just a tank for your bowman. He can be good, but he is pretty expensive to get good. He costs a lot to upgrade and you can only send out one at a time. Even if paired with a priest, he gets barely healed. He's alright, but I prefer other high health allies. 6th spot goes to the Assassin. The only ally with the ability to use range and melee attacks. Being easily spammable and have fast movement speed. They are also effective against spiderlings and lanterns. but they do lack health, making them weak against area attacks. Also, their range is not as far as the bowmen, making them walk closer to the enemy. I like her, she's a pretty good ally. Fifth spot goes to the Panzer Samurai. A very good tank to stall enemies while you build up leadership. He may lack the damage, but he does make up for health. And unlike other high health troops from this list like the Nobunaga, the Panzer Samurai can be summoned more than once. Also, they can be cheaper to summon and to upgrade. A really good high health troop, I prefer him more than the Nobunaga. Fourth spot goes to Frosty. Frosty can slow down enemies, well it is in his name. He is very effective against fast enemies like the Lantern. Some flaws I can say is that he is a bit more expensive than the regular bowman. His attack speed is not as fast as well. Even though he has some weak sides, he is still a solid troop. He is also effective against bosses to hinder their speed. Third place goes to the Spear Horseman. These horses deal the most damage out of any ally in this game. They also have fair amounts of health, so they will not die easily. And unlike the Takeda, these horsemen can be summoned more than once. But they are pretty expensive to send, so you better save up. They are also not very cheap to upgrade, which did knock him down a few spots, but he is still strong. Second place goes to the Bowman. A very good troop that you can use all throughout the game. They deal great amounts of damage, especially when you start having a bunch of them. They are also your best friend for mass their enemies. Another amazing thing about them is that once you unlock the Rifleman, they will start using rifles instead of bows, making their damage really high, which will make the enemies fall fast. And the crown goes to the Farmer. I like calling these guys the Proxiums of this game. They may not be exactly free, but they are the best troop to spam. Being very easily upgraded and having decent damage, fast cooldown, and can be equipped with bigger swords thanks to the swordsmith. Bosses can be defeated by just spamming farmers. Definitely one of the best or even the best troop in the game.